Okay, we're gonna do a video today. Instead of looking at my ugly face the whole time, I'm gonna show y'all around the yard, greenhouse. Then I'm gonna show you what I got planned to do my part in Finland's energy crisis. So here we go. I'm gonna spin you around. Don't get dizzy. Hold on. All right. The dog is barking because I'm talking to myself. Yeah. Not the brightest bulb in the pack. Now, She Who Rules had me out doing household chores the other day. And this is one of the Finnish household chores. This, I think, is why there's not much abuse from Finnish wives to Finnish husbands. What you do with this little tool, and this is the dog bed. And I have to imagine if she's mad at hubby, she just envisions his face right there when she does that. With the rugs and the dog beds. And maybe that's why there's not much abuse. You know, get your frustrations out early. That's a grown-up flower bed. I haven't done much this year. I've been very lazy due to an injury of an arm early in January. I did get a little done in the greenhouse. And for anybody that wonders, can you grow tomatoes in Finland? Well, I'm going to show you my baby tomato plants. These are my baby tomato plants. Just for reference, the top of that greenhouse rafter is probably 8 feet, almost 2 meters, over 2 meters. And this is what happens when you turn your back on your baby tomatoes and go to Lapland for a week. They get away from you. Yep, that's all tomatoes, the whole wall. We have round tomatoes and plum tomatoes and Roma tomatoes. So the answer to your question is yes, you can grow tomatoes in Finland in a greenhouse. Now this I call my do-nothing cucumber plant because it's been here all summer and it blooms and it grows and it spreads, but it has yet to produce a cucumber. Anybody's got an answer on that one? I'm open to suggestions. And we had windows open. We had available for bees to come in and insects to pollinate and all that good stuff. But maybe nobody took us up on the offer. I don't know. Now then, what we have here on the outside of the greenhouse is a raised bed put in. We're going to put strawberries in that next year. And here's something somebody asked about, what that big yellow thing was. The big yellow thing right now is 1,000 liters of water waiting to be used. We catch the rainwater from the gutter into the container, and then we have this handy little device down here to let the water out. Okay, this mess is some raised beds that were here when we bought the place. Next spring, they're coming out, some strawberries in them. Never done very well. So next year, these beds are coming out, and the strawberry plants are going in those beds. And here's Mia. Hey, Mia. What's up? Yeah, Daddy's talking to himself. You know Daddy's not wrapped very tight anyway. Okay, and we have another raised bed. And this organized mess is actually herbs. Over there we have, I think, oregano and parsley. And I don't know what that thing is. Some sort of Finnish something that she thought would be nice. And we have dill in the event of pickle making, mint, and some sort of onion thing. Don't know what that is. Now we'll turn our attention to our poor little cherry tree. It's done its thing, it made its cherries, it's resting. This is our apple tree. I'm proud of this year. This little tree has really produced. And one of my chores today is going to be to pick those apples off of that tree. And then, and of course these were all here when we bought the house, we have the plum tree. They're kind of hard to see, but I am truly amazed that one little tree can produce the number of plums that this thing did. We have here, given to us by a friend, a rhubarb plant. And by my design, a blackberry plant. It produced some this year, but this is its first year of real growth, so it's doing the best it knows how. And this mess you see here is half of the garden I allowed to lay fallow this year. Plow up, plant next year. And right there, that pretty little fella, or lady, I'm not sure, I hadn't looked under the leaves to see, is a volunteer flower. I had flowers planted in the row last year, so they came up. And way over there, and I'm gonna try to get closer so you can see it, is another volunteer that came up in the garden where the onions were planted, and I didn't have the heart to disrupt it, so I just left it where it was. Let's see if I can get over the fence without killing myself. There we go. And I'll show you this guy. It just came up all on its own with no help. So we let it go. Okay, now we're gonna go over to the really interesting stuff in a minute. I don't want to open the gate, so I have to step over the fence. But we had a very dry year. Got my potatoes in a little later than I wanted to. Therefore, we had a fairly decent sized crop, but not huge potatoes. But this is what we do to do our part for producing food here. This is my potato drying table, just so you can see. And this table is about 12 feet, 4 meters long, somewhere in there. These are Annabella. When we moved to Finland, we went to Hunkia and found out they had about 20 different kind of seed potatoes. So we pondered and we thought, and then we used a very scientific approach of choosing the seed potato, which was labeled the most popular potato in Finland. This is Annabelle. A very good potato. Good for baking, mashing, boiling, whatever you want to do. This first year I grow these are reds. Haven't tried them, but again, they're supposed to be good for baking, boiling, mashing, whatever you choose to do. This is our little onion crop that we got this year. Not huge, but probably get us through till next spring, as will the potatoes get us through. If last year was an indication, they will get us through and be enough left over to plant again. So we didn't have to buy seed potatoes. And now I'm gonna tell you about my part that I'm gonna do for the energy crisis in Finland. What you see on the ground is a pole mount solar array system. We brought this from America, packed it up, hauled it all the way here. That big black long thing is the main beam. The silver things are the runners that go on the beam to hold the panels. And that thing right there is the cap that goes on it all. And here's where the me working hard come in part goes. What you see right there is a 4-inch or I believe 10 centimeter steel pipe buried in the ground. How deep did you bury it, you say? Well, I dug a 1 square meter by 1 square meter deep hole, dug below that, lined that hole with copious quantities of steel rebar, and then proceeded to pour concrete around the whole thing. My thinking is, if it comes down, the garage is coming with it. And it goes up, and it goes up, and it goes up, and it goes up. And then someday, right there's the top of it. That's where this will go, the cap. And then all of that will mount to it. Hadn't figured out how I'm gonna do that yet. May have to rent a sky hook, I don't know. But I'll get the thing up there. I got the greenhouse trusses on. And right here, we have, for your viewing pleasure and display, 2 of the 6 90-watt solar panels that's gonna go up there. So we're going to put them up there, wire them to an inverter, and this is going to charge my car all summer. Not going to produce much in the winter. It'll be south facing, but we don't get that much sun in the winter. So all summer it will charge my car, and I will buy no electricity, and I will pay no taxes on electricity, and I will buy very little gasoline. And someday, if I live long enough, I'll get all the money back that Finland charged me in taxes for bringing my car in. And that's what I've been doing all summer. Doesn't look like much, but I told you I hurt my arm, hurt my shoulder pretty bad in January. Still having trouble with it. And there it goes to the sky. It actually goes about a meter above the roof line. Had a question asked of me in a comment the other day about, I'm gonna sit down here and I'm gonna try to turn around and face you again, so if you get dizzy, close your eyes. Hold on. I had a question asked of me about job availability in Finland for us older folks, 50 years and up. And I think a lot would depend on language skills. She Who Rules, also known as Belinda, my wife, has gone back to work. She's working as a teacher's aide at a school in Pori, in a class. And this impresses me again with the Finnish education system. A classroom where all of the children from other countries, I think right now there's children from 9 to 10 different countries in the class, learn to speak Finnish before being put into a class with other children. And they have all ages in this class, so I'm sure it's fun. But she's working 20 hours a week, does have to commute to Pori, which is about 30 miles, 40 some odd kilometers, I think, to her workplace. And she wanted something to do. Being, getting old is not for sissies. Because if you sit down, you die. You got to have something to do. But I'm not sure about the education or the labor market in Finland. I think there's probably work for most anyone who wants to do it. But again, like I say, it's just a matter of language. I think most places want people who have at least a basic knowledge of the Finnish language. A lot of Finns understand English. Some will speak, some won't. It's just the way it is. But that was my views and my tour for today. And yes, I am wearing a long sleeve shirt. It is about, I don't know, 50 degrees Fahrenheit. Fall is coming. I know fall's coming. I'll show you how I know. See them yellow spots on the ground? That's from our birch tree. Belinda hates this birch tree because in the spring it constantly sheds what I call birch fuzzies, little things that get everywhere. And then in the fall and winter it sheds leaves and limbs. She wants it cut down, but that way is south, and the sun comes up over here and goes around that way, and the tree gives a shade where my giant American barbecue grill is, and then in the afternoon it shades this area. So that's the only place she and I battle on the birch tree, because I'm not wild about it either. It would make a lot of firewood. They're predicting that utility rates could go up anywhere from 4 to 10 times what they are. So we're working on figuring that one out. Hopefully the 4 we could handle, 10 would be sell the farm. But as you can see, we have a nice chimney. 99% of our heat comes from wood. We have about 3 years worth of firewood stacked in, drying and ready. And that's all I'm gonna say for today. Oops, other than next Tuesday, today being Friday, I'm heading to America, jumping on the big bird, flying over the giant pond, going to see the children and grandchildren. So I'll post you something from America and tell you how much I miss Finland. Y'all have a good day. See you later.